Welcome, everybody. This is Microsoft Teams video conferencing. My name is David Benavides, and I'll be joined by Elaine Sabetti. We're both from Instructional Technology, Equity, Access, and Opportunity, San Diego Unified School District. If you would like to follow this presentation, you could go to the bit.ly/SDUSD Teams to access the slides. To get started with Teams, you will need to open the Microsoft Teams application. Turn your laptop on and direct yourself to the bottom left-hand corner to the Windows icon. When you press the Windows icon, go ahead and scroll down to M for Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams, work or school. Now, if you find that you don't have Microsoft Teams, which is okay, you might not have it installed yet, you can open a browser, open up a new browser, yourself to teams.microsoft.com. When you get to Teams, you will sign in with your district ID and password. Once signed in, you'll get a prompt on your screen letting you know that the classic Teams will be sunsetting beginning July 1st, 2024. It will ask you to switch to the new Teams. Go ahead and click Switch Now. After looking in your Windows menu and you notice that you did not have the Microsoft Teams application, once logged on to the browser to the Microsoft Teams, you go up to the top right hand corner next to your image. There's an ellipse. Select the ellipse and you'll be able to download the mobile app or the desktop application from there. Creating a meeting. To create a new meeting, either on the app or on your Chrome browser, select Calendar from the left-hand side. On Calendar, you'll notice on the top right-hand side, you'll see in a lavender color a plus sign followed by New Meeting. That's where you'll be able to create a new meeting. You do have a drop-down menu that gives you optional templates such as webinar, town hall, class, or lecture. These are optional templates that do not necessarily need to be used unless needed. For regular meetings, go ahead and click the plus New Meeting. When you select plus New Meeting, you'll get a similar menu as people would get when we were using the Zoom platform. It will ask you to enter the details for the meeting, such as the name, any required attendees. Do you have any attendees that are going to be being a co-host? In Teams, they're called co-organizers. Does this meeting repeat? Is it going to be repeated every day, Monday through Friday? Is it a daily meeting, weekly, monthly, yearly, or custom? You could add your location and you could add details for your meeting. On the right-hand side, you have some meeting options that are there by default. The first one is who can bypass the lobby. The lobby is what is known in Teams as the waiting room. Do you want everyone to bypass the lobby? Only people with the sandy.net, which is our organization? Or do you want specific people? Only organizers and co-organizers, the host or the co-host. That way everyone else stays in the waiting room until you let them in. Now, if you're going to use organizers and co-organizers, make sure you do enter their email for that individual that's going to be an organizer. Do you want to record and transcribe automatically? You can enable it now or later on. And then we'll go into more options. In more options, there's some other settings that you can change for your meeting. So, for example, it will ask you again, who may bypass the lobby? Only organizers and co-organizers. People dialing in can bypass the lobby. There is no dialing option for people to dial in to a Teams meeting. They can use a phone, but it has to be a smartphone, which has an internet browser. They can use the browser to go to the meeting, or they might be prompted, depending on the model of the phone, to download the free Microsoft Teams application. Green room is not available in our platform. And then you have audio and video. Do you want to allow the microphone for attendees to be on? And how about the camera? Okay, there's times that you might not want cameras on, just audio. You also have engagement in the platform. The meeting chat. Do you want the meeting chat on, off, or only available when the meeting is in session? Questions and answers. Do you want people that have the icon to be able to ask a question to get an answer from the host, organizer? Do you want to allow reactions, the emojis, the happy face, the thumbs up, the smiling? Do you want an attendance report for the session to see who attended, what time they entered, what time they left, and what the role was? And then we have roles. Announce what people are dialing in, join, or leave. That's the chime that we used to have in Zoom. So if you want that chime to show when someone comes in, enable this one. Choose co-organizers. So in order for us to have the co-organizers, the email needed to be entered. Remember, I entered Elaine Sabetti. So now I'm going to be able to select Elaine Sabetti as my co-organizer. Who can present? This is presenting your screen on the Teams meeting. Now, if you want everyone to be able to present, leave it at everyone, maybe as a staff meeting. But what about if you only want specific people? Not just the organizers and co-organizers, but what about specific people? You can select specific people or co-organizers or everyone. If you select specific people, remember their email needs to be entered on the required attendees. Language interpretation is available, very similar to Zoom. There is a guide for you to use on how to enable language interpretation. However, for language interpretation services, please contact the language interpretation department. So we're just going to click send. Once it's sent, you'll notice that the sample meeting is on my Teams calendar. Sharing your meeting link. To share your meeting link, you'll notice that your meeting is on your Teams calendar. When you click on it, you can copy the link from there. You could open the meeting and you scroll down and you could get the link from there as well, which gives you the meeting ID and password. And you can send it either your preferred way of sending the meeting links. Alternatively, when you click on the meeting, you'll see that you have your meeting info. You could copy the link and also send it via your preferred method. In addition to having your meeting in your Teams calendar, your Outlook calendar also synchronizes and will display your meeting as scheduled. There's our sample meeting on Microsoft Outlook. So you can start it from either calendar, your Outlook or your Teams calendar. Starting your Teams meeting. To start your Teams meeting, you could direct yourself to your Outlook calendar or your Teams calendar. Go to the meeting time. You can open it to select join, or you could just hover on top of it and select join meeting. Similar to our previous platform, Zoom, you will be asked if you want your camera on, do you want filters, where do you want your audio to come out of? Many people have different options. Some people have external cameras or external audio, so there might be different options for you to choose. However, let's go over the generic ones. We'll turn our camera on. Camera is on. We do have the gear icon where it gives me if I have different cameras that I can select or different audio settings that I can select from. Notice if I select my camera, there's 3 different cameras that I have. I don't have an external camera at the moment, but I'm going to use my front camera for my laptop. Audio is going to come out by default from your device unless you have an external audio to select. Once you're in, maybe you want a background filter. You want a background filter. You could get a blur if you want to blur your background, or if you want a creative different background that has animation, not animation, but a picture background. Once it's set, you could select join now. This is the full view of what you will see when you are in Teams and you have started your meeting. There is a menu up top. There is an ellipse on the bottom left-hand side of where the screen's at. So let's go over what these look like or what they do. So we're going to start up top where it says there's an ellipse and there says more. When we select more, there's a few other items for you to select, and these are all to help you while you're in your session. So for example, let's say that you needed to record and transcribe and you forgot to select it. You go to more, record and transcribe, and you can start the recording or start the transcription. Below that, we have meeting info. When you select the meeting info, it's going to give you the link in case you need to send it to someone else again. And also the Microsoft Teams join to click to join the meeting with the meeting ID and password. Also in more, you have video effects and setting. Let's say I forgot to blur my background. I can blur it here from now. Also in more, we have audio settings. Let's say you connected an external audio sound. You could change it from here. Also, if you're using headphones, you'll need to go into audio settings to ensure that you're connected to the headphones and not to your computer speakers. We have language and speech. In language and speech, you'll be able to turn captions on as needed. Notice I turned them on and they're showing on display on the bottom. We also have additional settings. Your call health. Are you coming in clear, or is your internet unstable that it's sounding choppy and slowed down because of the internet width? So you'll be able to check through there. If you forgot to change something, maybe at a co-organizer or specific people that would like to present, you could go to meeting options and you'll have the same meeting options that you had when you were setting up the meeting. Accessibility. Do you have a language interpreter? I mean, a sign language interpreter that you're going to be using? Now, keep in mind that these need to be assigned with the actual person, so they would need to be planned ahead if you're going to have a sign language person. Following the ellipse, and there's where it says more, to the left, there's that plus apps. This is where you'll be able to install different available applications that are available to you to download onto your Teams application and use as add-ons. Then we have the view. This is the view that you're going to see. Normally we have the view where there's a rectangle square with a picture on it. But on view, you have the gallery view, the speaker view, which will always display whoever's speaking in front of the camera. We have the together mode. The together mode gives you a different variety of features. Well, where you can create a setting that is different from the regular traditional picture. Notice that I'm here in some sort of a lecture hall. I'm by myself here. There's no one else. But as more people join, their silhouette and picture will show up on the stage. Followed by view, there's a react. These reactions are your thumbs up, surprised. Now, these emojis are all by default the Simpson colors. They're all yellow, and there's only those few. Again, these are an option that you can disable or enable as needed in your meeting options. You have a raise hand. The hand, when you select it, that means someone has a question. And when I raise my hand, a yellow border will appear around my camera image, letting the host, the organizers know that someone has a question. Following, you have people. In people, it's going to show everyone who's in your session at the moment. If you could search by participant, share the invite, or know who else is in this meeting. Right now, it's only me. Others invited, Sabeti. Now, notice what if I raise my hand, the yellow image will appear around my image, and the hand will show up on the people participants, letting people know that, hey, this person has a question. Also under people, on the top, there's an ellipse. Select it, and you'll be able to download the attendance list or lock the meeting. When you download the attendance list, it's going to download onto your computer downloads folder, and it's going to download as an Excel file. Following that view, we have chat, where the chat conversations will go. Moving back to the right hand side, you have the red leave button. But next to it, there's a drop down. You could leave the meeting or end the meeting. If you want to end the meeting for everyone, select end, not leave. Rooms. You have breakout rooms on here. Breakout rooms, you have anywhere from 2 to 50 rooms that you can select, and they can be assigned automatically or they can be assigned manually. Sharing your screen. Next to the leave icon, there's a share button. When you click share, remember that if your content that you're sharing has audio embedded within it, make sure that you select include sound. Okay, make sure you select include sound. There's presenter modes available to you. There's a presenter mode where you're just presenting your screen. No one's there. No, you're not displaying your image. There's the standout view. If I select the standout view and share, give you an idea what it looks like. Oops. If you select screen, you'll be displaying anything that's on your screen that's opened. So let's say you have a tab open and then you minimize it, whatever's behind your email, your gradebook, chats will all be displayed and viewable to everyone who's in your session. Okay, so you can use this option, but minimize stuff that's private and personal that confidential. Or you could open a selected window. Maybe you're only going to have a specific window that needs to be open. If you minimize that, the audience will not see what's behind there. You also have a interactive whiteboard that you can select. You can change from camera. Maybe you have a document camera that you want to show. You could also select files that you want to display. You can select files that you want to show. So let's say if I want to show this file, I'll select it. I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it, but not sharing it for them to edit, but more likely for them to just view. And finally, there is the ellipse that is available on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. When you press on it, you can also from there switch camera, pin an individual for you, hide yourself, or spotlight for everyone. This has been a quick overview of the Microsoft Teams video conferencing application.